어서 와.
Hi guys! We are
Hello!
on Seoul and today we are back with another vlog about types of jobs in Korea, how to find them and
Our
everything.
personal experience.
Yeah, our personal experience. We will talk about three types of jobs like part-time, internship and full-time.
Let's get started.
First of all, we will talk about where to find the jobs. Actually, there are different cases for internships, different cases for full-time, and different cases for part-time.
I will talk about where to find the part-time jobs. First of all, part-time jobs usually in Korea are jobs that you do for maximum 6 hours per day, and I think usually 3 to 4 days per week. Maximum 20 hours, I know, and usually you can find most of them on Facebook and on like Craigslist. These are the kind of like the English parts where you can actually find them. And also for like the Korean version, you can try Albamon. Albamon is a Korean website and they have application also. And Alba actually means part-time. So they made this special application for people that want to search for part-time jobs.
Okay, so for full-time job, actually they have again some Korean-based applications, which you can find them on website too, or you just install the application. So there is Job Korea, Saramin, Job Planet, the ones I know. Actually, they have other ones too, but these are the ones I used before. The thing is here, everything it's written there, it's in Korean. So yeah, you should know Korean for those type of jobs. Also, if you like want to find a job but with English description, you should check out the international websites, the ones that maybe you have in your country too, like LinkedIn or Glassdoor. Those ones, yeah, they have like the announcements in English, because most of the companies who are like posting there are international companies, or the Korean companies which have like international brands and multinationals. And also sometimes, but really sometimes, you can find the jobs on Craigslist, but really rarely. Most of them are for English teaching full time, and also like Facebook groups. But again, those are like maybe not the ones that they ask for some skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the main ones, and also they have a job fair for foreigners, those who graduate recently, or those who like international plan to graduate. And there is another one that is for those who are also already living in Korea. Yeah. But the thing is, here the competition is really high, because most of the jobs there, like some of them, they only require English, and they also sponsor the visa. So a lot of people are going there, and they are like only big companies like Amore Pacific or Hyundai or this kind of companies. So yeah, the competition there is quite difficult. The last one, internships, where you can find some internships. In our own experience, we have different experience. There is one internship from City Hall, Seoul City Hall. So you can actually work in these public centers, like, I'm not sure, like maybe like how to say, like firefighters office or subway. Yeah, this kind of like public institutions. In my own experience, I had one in Seoul Welfare Center. I will tell you later.
Yeah. And for me, I went to the interview for the subway, for the Kore. Actually, it's not only subway, it's like train and subway and everything that's related to these ones. And for internship, where you can actually find them beside the websites like the City Hall website, you can actually find them on their own website, because I applied for KT, and KT is like this big Korea telecom company, and they had on their own website, so they didn't advertise anywhere else beside their website. But because I was a student, our university kind of like give us like newsletters about these internships, so that's how I found out. But yeah.
Actually, yeah, through university too, you can find, like, if you are like, but the thing is, those internships from university, they actually send you email in Korean too.
Yeah, only in Korean actually.
Yeah, the internships, yeah, like the government, their own website, and university sometimes. What skills it's required for applying? So first of all, for a part-time job, you need like Korean and English.
Actually, for part-time job, you need just a little bit of Korean. Most of them they say conversational or just basic Korean, because if you work, for example, in a company, like not company, but like a bar or a restaurant, of course there will be like Korean, like people that will come inside and they don't know English, so they require a basic of Korean language. And of course they require English, because that's why they actually hire people in their restaurants or bars. So if foreigners will come,
Ask them
ask
like,
in
in
English.
Yeah. So actually more bars or this kind of
Yeah.
But for full-time job, actually they require more like professional Korean. You need a topic. Most of them they look for a topic. And beside English, which they ask you for a high level of English, there is a big plus if you know other languages like Russian, Chinese,
French.
or French. Yeah, like this, because they're actually the companies, they have branches in those countries, or they are doing trade with those countries, so that's why they hire foreigners. So only Korean and English most of the time is not enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if you only know English and you come to apply to like an international company here and you have the luck to be selected, that's really lucky, believe me. Like most of the time only with English is not working. You need to have a high level of Korean, and for me personally that's a struggle right now because I don't have the exam for Korean language, and due to the virus they kind of canceled all the exams, so it's very hard to find a job. So she's totally right.
The interview. So like actually same like part-time jobs and full-time jobs have different interviews. For part-time job actually
For part-time jobs, I had an interview usually with a manager or like a superior, and if there was like, let's say, an English academy, I was just talking directly to the boss. Usually for English academies, the boss is the one that's hiring and firing, and he's teaching next to you, and it's like a really like small amount of people that work in a Hagwon. If that like Hagwon is academy, if that academy is like small. So basically the interview is just basic. They ask you for like a resume or a CV and like your introduction letter, and you could just go there and talk with them personally. And when I was in like I was working for the bar, the same. I was talking with like a manager, and then like the boss came, and the only point they wanted me to know was Korean. The only thing they asked me was like, how long have you been in Korea? Do you know Korean? They didn't even ask me if I know how to bartend. They were like, we will teach you. Like, you don't even have to know that. We will teach you. We need to know if you know Korean so you can take the orders. And for the English Academy, actually, when she interviewed me, she was like, you know Korean is better for me, but don't talk with the kids in Korean. You should not know Korean. So it's totally different like environment, and the interview is really like just you and the boss or just you and the manager. It's just one-on-one, and it's not that huge of a deal, and it's like super cool and sometimes very chill, but you need to be prepared anyway.
Yeah, but for full-time job, as she said, like after you apply for the job with your resume and cover letter and sometimes a portfolio, you have to usually apply to their site or through the application. After you pass, most of them they will send you a message with the time and location when you will have the interview. So I had a couple of interviews, but all the time actually when you were doing the interview, I had the interview with even the manager of even the boss of the company, because they were not that big companies, and most of the time there were 2 or 3 people who were interviewing me, asked me like, first of all they were screening my resume, because they have your resume and they read there and they ask, oh, why did you study there, what do you la la la, like this kind of stuff. And sometimes you are not the only one who is taking the interview, like you enter with other 4 people, and for like you have, and that's such a struggle. And then they ask you first of all they ask you, introduce yourself, so everybody introduce themselves, and then they have like specific questions and you have to answer to those questions. And if you are the first one,
if you want, just a bracket, if you want us to talk about how it's an interview in Korea and basically what are the questions that they usually ask, let us comments below, because we do have experience with that, and we had like a lot of interviews where this type of like multiple, like 6 people in a room with 4 judges in front of you, it's for everything, believe me, including when you apply for university.
Yeah.
So even if you apply for scholarship, it's the same interview. So if you want to like see a video about that, please let us know, because it's a lot to talk,
Yeah.
and we can actually make kind of like a training for you, because we have a lot of experience.
Yeah, so, but yeah, this is like really different. And about the internship, actually, yeah, I had because like the one from City Hall, it was like 1-to-1, and we just talk like casually because it was an internship, so you don't require any skills or whatever. They only ask, oh, you do know Korean a little bit, do you know English, and that's all.
For the internship, for me, both the chorale was like, it was just me, but there were like 3 guys in front of me, which was like really like, so I don't know how to say, emotional and stressful. And for the KT was exactly the style that she was talking about. We were 6 people in the room and 4 people like judging us and ask us questions, and all the interview was in Korean. So I was like super stressed out, so stressed out, but it was so cool. Like the idea was like super cool, because you gain experience by doing this. So yeah. But it's so for internship is totally different. I think that each internship has different like application mode. Like you can just apply and they will give you an email, or you apply and you have interview, or you apply and I think it's totally different. Like internship, because it's based on like each company. But for full-time is like human resources, so they should have a specific type of like interview and ask you specific questions.
If you have, like as you said, any other suggestion for our videos, or if you are curious about certain step from finding a job, just let us know so we can make a special video for that.
As a conclusion, if you want to know, basically the working hours in Korea are from
The working, it depends. It's from 9 to
7
6.
or 6, yeah.
Then 10 to 7, or
Yeah.
some of them, but rarely you can choose, but that's also really rarely.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, that. And for the part-time jobs, it's depending on your schedule. If you work in a bar, you have certain days that you go there, or if you work like in a restaurant, you may switch shifts with other people. Like it's made by the boss, so you will receive like a message and they will tell you when you need to go, which is pretty annoying because you don't know next week, oh, I'm going to work in the morning or in the night. That's a little bit frustrating. But if you are in the school and you cannot work certain hours, you can just ask the boss. And probably what I did was that, and I was working only 3 days from 6 to 3 a.m. 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. because it was a bar. So but usually we finished at 1, so it was quite cool. And what can I say, like usually these type of jobs in Korea, like part-times and full-times, the office style is totally different, and how you actually need to talk with your boss and stuff like that. So like she said, if you want us to talk more about the working lifestyle and not how to search for a job, that will be a totally different video, because it's a lot to talk, so we don't want to bore you.
Guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like our video
Also subscribe and share with all your chingos,
and write a lot of comments. See you next time.
bye.
Okay, so